Hey guys, welcome to episode 90. So I haven't actually finished all of my shopping and stuff yet, but when I tried to go from here to the Frostback Mountains to buy a recipe, I got ambushed last time, so I reloaded it, and hopefully I'll get ambushed again, because I'd like to do the ambush as part of the episode, and then pause it again, do everything else I want to do. Oh good. I think it's happening. Ah, we're going by Redcliffe. Don't go by Redcliffe. You don't want to do that. Yep, here we go. Seems to be the Dark Spawn attacking, including an ogre, attacking some of the Earl's men. Um, you know what? I'm going to turn this on. Do we have Win with us? We don't. We have Ogren, Shale, and... Alright. Shale, go try to stun some of those guys for me, please. And I'm going to try to force field that ogre, I think, because it would be good to get him out of the picture. Good. Now I want to do Cleansing Aura. I feel like, and then I want to do that. Standing around these guys might be giving them all a little bit of health back, which could be useful. Alright. That ogre is not going to be locked up much longer, though. I think it's working. I think it's healing him. There's some archers, too. I don't have anything for the archers, really. I guess I could Winter's Grasp them. Oh, I could Petrify. I forgot about Petrify. There we go. And let's heal that soldier. Shale's got aggro on the ogre. That's good. Hey, we saved most of the men. I'm going to try to move closer to keep healing them. And one more gen lock. He's not much trouble. That does seem to drain mana pretty rapidly, though. Eh, maybe not. Maybe it's just me using things with all the fatigue. Alright. No! Oh, I didn't mean to do that. It didn't have a... Arrgh. A gather your party and venture forth thing. Oh well. We have enough money at this point anyway, I think, so I'm going to go back to spending it, and when I'm done, I will see you guys then. Alright, welcome back. We are here, you may recognize this room, in the Mage's Tower. This is where it all began. I guess technically it began in the Fade, or in the Harrowing Chamber at least. But didn't want to walk all the way up there, because then I'd have to walk back down again. But I figured this was as good a place as any to begin, so...
I don't know if I have the strength for another big battle.
The Grey Warden. Fighting the Blight is the least we can do.
True.
The Circle has always played a part in defeating the Blights. This is our chance to show that we will fight and die for our home, just like any other Ferelden.
Oh good, I actually didn't know the conversation was there because I had my headset off when I came here to save the game. Anyway, it's been about 2 hours now. I spent about an hour going around doing all of my stats and things, and I'll show you that later. And then another hour or so eating some food and just taking a break. Before we go, I want to buy a bit more lyrium dust.
I'm sure you need supplies after that, don't you?
Yep. Alright. Lyrium dust is there. See, we don't have much gold left, down to 16. Actually thought I would have less than that. So I'm going to buy just a whole stack of lyrium. And then, let's see. What would that come out to? 67? Let's do 60 in case we find some more laying around by some chance. And he does have concentrator agent. Does he have distillation agent? Not that I see, so that doesn't really help me any. Alright, that's cool though. Alright, now, before we begin, I am going to go back to camp, because we have a few little things to finish up. It won't take long, I promise. And then we'll actually get a move on here. So, first of all, I went to Warden's Keep and got all the stuff I wanted to get out of there, since I don't think the chest transfers to the expansion, which is called Awakening, by the way. There is a party storage chest in Awakening, and it's actually much more easily accessible than the one here, which is over at Warden's Keep. But I don't think it's the same chest. Like, I don't think the items you put in that chest will transfer into the new game. Alright, so I'll go down items first. I have couple potent health poultices. Can't even say that. Um, which we had before. I made some more greater health poultices with Morgan. So we have 25 greater, 25 regular, 40 normal, or lesser. I figure that should be enough. Then we have 3 greater injury kits, 9 injury kits, 30 lesser injury kits. That should be way more than enough. 20 double weight Mabari crunch. 3 potent lyrium potions, 15 greater, 50 regular, and 65 lesser. And that should be enough, because there's not like that much more of the game to go. I also bought greater spirit bombs because the archdemon does spirit attacks. I don't think I'll have to use those. I'm probably going to try not to because 1, I'm playing on normal and I'd be embarrassed if I had to use them. And 2, I haven't used any spirit bombs this far, so I kind of don't want to start now. But I bought them just because I won't have a chance to come back and get them if I change my mind or something. So who knows. So we have some lyrium dust, a flask, Alfruit in case I need to make more potions. And arrows of filter good because the archdemon has a very high resistance to magic. He has 75% resistance to most, which is the max you can get. 65 to fire and only 25 to nature. So these will be good to equip to Liliana before the final battle. Apprentice robes I kept because these are the very first robes I started the game with. Oh, look how young he looks suddenly. Alright. But we're going to go with these because they're many times more awesome. And the Warden's Oath because I'll take that with me to the expansion since it's, it's my first pendant as a Warden. These gifts I guess I could give to somebody like Liliana, but she's already maxed, so I'll keep them with me. I don't know until I need them. As for the maps, we can give those to Loghain, and that's what we're going to do. I've been trying not to mention these when they've been appearing throughout the game because I didn't want to give away that there is a secret companion. Alright, so yeah, let's get his affection up a bit. Map of the Anderfels.
I'm surprised. Thank you.
Current map of Ferelden.
I'm surprised. Thank you.
Ancient map of the Imperium.
Thank you.
Do you want this?
Thanks.
Not really. Thanks. Yeah. Alright, now these 2 feast day gifts are also for Loghain, which took me a minute to figure out, but I figured it out during the middle of that episode, and hopefully it wasn't too obvious. So the illusion mask he would obviously hate.
This is interesting, I suppose.
Because he hates Orlais. King Merrick's shield, however, I'm sure he'll love.
I'm surprised. Thank you.
It is an item. Cool. I hoped it would be. I don't... Actually, that probably is better. Because it's a heavy shield. I don't know what high morale means, but, yeah, similar coat of arms. Without the crown, though. We lose the set bonus, however, which is pretty nice. The stamina and the, what is it, stamina and willpower or stamina and damage? I think it's stamina and damage. Then again, he's not a damager, so the higher armor might make sense. Maybe we'll go with that. Plus, lore-wise, King Merrick's blade, King Merrick's shield, that they go together. Alright. I did give Alistair Keening the sword, which we was carrying on with us, because it's the only sword I had on hand at the moment. Because I wanted to take Kaelin's sword, or Merrick's sword for Loghain. But I didn't want to leave Alistair swordless, in case he, appears in cutscenes and all. He might actually fight in the battle too, but I don't think so. At least not like in-game. Brought this with me because we can probably sell it in the expansion for lots of gold. And yeah, you guys saw everything else. My painted skyball, because I've always had that. That's my little cool little trinket. And that's basically all the items we're taking with us. Gear-wise, I did buy a life giver for him, which is a really good ring for a tank. You get it from Gorim, not Gorim. I can't remember his name. One of the dwarven merchants in Orzammar, the one by the entrance to the Diamond District. And it's pretty much the best ring in the game. It minimized again. What is going on? Hopefully it doesn't keep doing that. Because Constitution, that's like, what, 50 health right there? Plus health regen in combat, armor, healing reflex received. It's just an amazing ring for tanks. So I'm giving that to Loghain. If I remember, I'm going to take that off and keep it with me for the when I transfer to the expansion. But I may forget, so just in case, that's where it is. Yeah, that's basically it. Wynn got my old belt because I got myself a new belt. I also gave her the fire gloves, which I had stored in those chests, in that chest in Warden's Keep, because she has fire spells now. Sten is basically the same stuff he's always had, I think. Zevran has his daggers and Liliana's old bow. I couldn't afford the other dagger for him, the Rose's Thorn, because it's 148 gold, and I wasn't about to spend that on. Wait a minute. Ather's Pendant. Why do you have Ather's Pendant? What do you... I think I made a mistake there when I was... Where's Win? Win. Oh, okay. Anarin is her apprentice. Athris is the guy whose wife turned into a werewolf. Easy to get them confused. Okay, anyway. Shale, I went with the spirit crystals, and then I realized I probably should go with the nature crystals because she's more of a tank and they're more tanky. Even though Darkspawn have slight resistance to nature damage, but yeah, just the same. I didn't want to buy them again because they cost a lot of gold to buy back. You know Duncan, he has his stuff. And yep, I bought myself a new belt, Andrew's Blessing, which we said we were going to buy from the Mage's Quartermaster, and we did. Still have a spell ward, yeah, typical stuff pretty much. Ogren didn't change anything really. Gave Liana some ice arrows just to get rid of them. Fire arrows will be better because Darkspawn have a slight fire weakness, but you get what you get. And Morgan has, yeah, her usual stuff too, and the cold damage gloves. Alright, so that's about it. I also went through, I leveled them all up and went through their tactics as well. You can see I actually, most of them have max tactic slots or close to it, which is really awesome. Shale doesn't, but it's because he can't get skills, same with Duncan. And I didn't allocate enough points, I guess, or I'm not sure why the player character has less, but yeah. I guess maybe the higher tactic slots you might get 2 per talent, that might be it. And Liliana is also missing 2. She probably could use another skill point. But it is what it is. Yeah. So anyway, I also bought a bunch of tomes. Ooh, see, he has strength, not constitution. That seems weird. But so I bought. That's actually what I spent most of the remainder of my gold on after I bought some potions. I upgraded my skills. I even bought the 2 attribute points ones because they're not that good, but I had nothing else to spend money on, so I did. And yeah, didn't buy the physical tomes because my companions were only with me a couple hours more, and I didn't want to waste that much money. From what I could find online, there's no evidence at all that donating to these crates actually improves your armies in the final battle. I think it just improves your XP. It is a nice like RP thing, so I didn't add anything else to that. I thought about buying some runes, but since I'm not playing a warrior. If I was playing a warrior or rogue, I would definitely max out all my runes and all my weapons, but I'm not, so I didn't. I did buy 1 anti-darkspawn rune. I think I put it in like low gain sword plus 10 damage against darkspawn, so I figured that would be useful. Anyway, let's actually talk to Logan a bit, just because he's new.
I passed your test. Fate has a twisted sense of humor, it seems. I suppose you think I'm some sort of monster. More so since I survived your ritual. You keep striking at me, and I just refuse to die decently.
I'll joke with him. I think I might soften him up a bit. I may have to resort to magic next.
Oh? What was all that nonsense with the Darkspawn blood and mages then? A puppet show? It seems to me that magic has already failed. I'd recommend a sharp knife in the kidneys next time. Less impressive, but it gets the job done.
Alrighty then. The plan loses something when you're the one suggesting it.
I suppose it does lack the element of surprise. Well, what shall we do to settle things between us then?
Arm wrestling contest. I'm gonna go with number 1 because time to get serious. You cost me Alistair, you know.
Yes, well, you can thank me for that later. I don't know what concession you want from me, Warden. I expect my word will not satisfy you.
I need to know I can trust you. Actually, I'm gonna go with number 4. You're a Grey Warden now too, you know.
Indeed, I'd almost forgotten that. Thank you for the reminder. I think it's time we got to the point here. What do you want from me? I can't imagine that you spared my life in the Landsmeet by accident. You have some plan in mind.
He's shorter than I thought he would be. Interesting choices. Let's see. I was granting you mercy, I didn't actually want you. That's too easy. Your sentence is life as a Grey Warden. Ouch, that's kind of a... I mean, to some degree, Alistair's right. It is a point of pride to be a Grey Warden. Despite the costs. But yeah, I want to go with number 1 because that's most in line with what I actually wanted. I'm giving you a chance. I want you to take it.
Fortunate for me, then, that I've always been a man to take chances. I'm hardly blind to the irony of this situation. All of this can rightly be called my fault. Whether or not you can do better remains to be seen, but if you can make this the end, Warden, I will follow you, I swear it.
I actually believe him. Still going to keep 2 other Night Watchmen up when he's on watch, but I kind of trust him. You can stay in the camp. Well, you're going to have to prove your worth here.
I never doubted that. We should speak no more of this at present. Time's wasting.
Alright. Big Logan approval. I wonder if the other companions have anything to say about him. Let's check. Nope. I'll pet Duncan. Aww. He's been a good dog with me through the ages. Let's see if Severn has anything to say.
What say you? By all means.
No. Liliana?
The stars are out.
There is still beauty to be found in this world.
It comforts me to know that the stars will remain untouched by the blight. That whatever happens down here, they will shine eternally. Their light undimmed. There is a story about that cluster of stars over there. Do you know it? Elindra and her soldier?
It's almost, I think it's more kind of sad in a way that, like, the entirety of all these races could be wiped out and the universe wouldn't blink an eyelash. That's true in real life, too. Like, think of the worst fate that could befall the Earth. We could be hit by a giant meteor, or the Nazis could have taken over and won, or global warming could render the planet completely uninhabitable, and yet the Earth would keep spinning, it would keep going around the sun, the stars would keep shining, the universe would hardly ever know we were here. Now that we're all depressed, tell me the story.
A long time ago, there lived a fair maiden called Elindra. She had many suitors, but spurned them all, for she did not love them. One day, Elindra was sitting by her window in her father's castle, singing and dreaming, when her lovely voice caught the attention of a young soldier. Entranced by her song, the soldier drew near to Elindra's window. As their eyes met, he fell in love with her, and she with him. When Elindra told her father about the man she had chosen, he was furious, for Elindra was high-born, but her love nothing more than a common soldier. To keep them apart, he had Elindra imprisoned in the highest tower of his castle, and sent her soldier to the wars. Alas, not a month had passed before news of the soldier's death reached Elindra. Alone in her tower, Elindra wept for her love, and beseeched the gods to deliver her from this cruel world. So earnest was her plea that the gods themselves were moved. They gathered Elindra into their arms and lifted her high into the heavens, where she became a star. The gods also raised up the soul of Elindra's soldier love, and there he dwells, across the horizon from her. The band of stars between them is a river of Elindra's tears, cried for her lost love. They say that when Elindra has cried enough, she will be able to cross the river to be reunited with her soldier.
It's a nice story, but if you cry more, wouldn't the river get wider and deeper and harder to cross? Not, I don't know. Why do the stories always end so badly?
It doesn't end so badly. It ends hopefully. Elindra will one day be with her love again. We don't know when, but she will. This story is one of my favorites. A tale of a love so great and so enduring that it defies death and moves the gods to action. Sometimes I ask myself, does such a love exist? Can it exist?
I like how you can be like, real love is a mix of lust and attachment, nothing more. Or like Darwinian about it. I'll go with, if we lose hope in love, then we are truly lost.
I never expected you to say that. It is a pleasant surprise.
Why is it a surprise?
I have to say there is a certain severity to you. Finding a person behind that all is nice. Maybe
see
you
that.
should let your softer side show more often. Sometimes following your heart, not your head, leads you to remarkable places.
I'm not sure that would be good for a Grey Warden, though. be showing his softer side all the time. Alright, so there's Lieutenant Cadrim wants gold for his soldiers, but because I don't have much gold left, I'm not going to give him any. How you doing,
You're
Win?
quite taken with each other, aren't you?
Oh. You know about Liliana and me?
I've seen the way she looks at you, the familiarity with which you speak, how she always finds a way to place herself next to you.
She does that, doesn't she?
It's almost too sweet for my tastes, and I'm an old lady who should be making lace hearts and fuzzy blankets with animal motifs.
You're not like the average old lady, though.
No, I won't be making socks with pom-poms for you anytime soon. But
Drats.
that's hardly my point. I've noticed your blossoming relationship, and I wanted to ask you where you thought it was going. Liliana is a remarkable girl, sincere and guileless, and she has opened her heart to you. I would not like to see her hurt.
We're just taking it one day at a time.
You are a Grey Warden. You have responsibilities which supersede your personal desires.
I know. I'll say number one. I can handle my responsibilities and my relationships.
Love is ultimately selfish. It demands that one be devoted to a single person who may fully occupy one's mind and heart to the exclusion of all else. A Grey Warden cannot afford to be selfish. You may be forced to make a choice between saving your love and saving everyone else. And then what would you do?
That would be a tough choice. Let's see. You don't get to actually give her a direct answer, huh? I think Aravail would probably he would hate himself for it, but he would do what was for the greater good. Yeah, I don't think he's he might have a romantic instinct, but I don't think he would be yeah, he would put his duty first. So let's go with you're making things sound more dire than they are. All these are kind of not interesting things to say.
Nothing is certain. Not in these times. You cannot take anything for granted. I want you to be aware of this.
I'll consider what you've said.
I am just trying to minimize the suffering that may come to either of you. I have given my advice. Do with it what you will.
Yeah. Yeah, Aravel's definitely a Grey Warden first and foremost. He knows what has to come with the Blight, but that doesn't mean he can't have someone to bear the burden with during the journey. I don't really want to make last rounds to everybody, because we will get to talk a little bit more later on. But Logan probably has some more
I
conversations.
suppose I shouldn't be surprised at your success. You beat me. Perhaps you can do this after all.
So just a heads up, I'm going to spend the rest of this episode talking to Logan, I think, because it's already getting a little long. So we'll do that, and then once this episode ends, then we'll actually go begin the final quest. But if you're like me and are interested in what Logan has to say for himself, keep watching. You had your doubts?
It hardly matters now. I've certainly been mistaken about you before. Do you want something? I suppose I have a moment.
Why do you hate Orlais so much?
Hate doesn't describe it. I've seen painted, masked lords beat an old farmer to death with riding crops. To this day, I don't know why. Is that hate? I saw good, sensible men fight armored chevaliers with nothing. No weapons, no armies, not even hope of success to see the occupation end. Is that hate?
Is he talking about his feelings now, or the hate that they felt? It sounds like hate to me.
You won't believe me when I tell you this, but it doesn't matter. I never fought because I hated Orlais. This was for Merrick and for Reldon.
Merrick is dead.
What does that matter? He was my king. More importantly, he was my friend. Death doesn't end that. In any case, there's no use discussing this. We have much work left to do.
I think I'm probably gonna get negative affection for that, come to think of it, but that's okay. I don't think of Logan as the type that has friends, which really makes me want to reread that book again and see what he was like when him and Merrick were younger. I wanted to ask you something first.
Go ahead.
How well did you know King Merrick?
He was my friend. If he'd wanted to conquer the Fade, I would have led the charge.
What made Merrick such a great king?
There are men who inspire such devotion that everyone around would lay down their lives for him. And there are men who would come and go from this world, and no one notes it. What makes them so? Your guess is as good as mine. Merrick was remarkable. That's all I can say of him.
Well, hopefully Alistair inherited some of that. Why didn't he acknowledge Alistair?
He nearly did. Merrick was never one to avoid his duty, and given his preference, he would have acknowledged his son no matter the circumstance. But he had more than his honor to think of. It would have ruined Rowan, after all. She'd be reduced to a concubine in the eyes of our neighbors, and put Kaelin's status as heir in question. So Merrick made the hard choice. Eamon offered to raise the boy, and that was that.
Yeah, Rowan was Eamon's sister, and I believe they're both characters as well. A peasant's daughter. I guess Logan being a peasant. I guess he is well, he was a Terran by that point. So I guess Ferelden does have a bit of upper mobility. At least if you're a good enough warrior and inspirational leader. So it was all politics?
Kings don't get the luxury of escaping politics. But we've been idle long enough. We should get moving.
Yeah, it's funny. I guess Alistair made a similar decision to his father then, to do what was best for the kingdom instead of what was best for himself. Because he too is sort of in a similar situation, marrying Anora, not because he loves her, but because it's what's best for Ferelden. And if it helps stop the Blight, then best for all of Thedas. So how did you meet Merrick?
I was hunting, well, poaching, to be entirely honest, when a boy my own age came stumbling out of the woods. He was so dirty, you'd have thought he'd been dug up out of the ground.
What was he running from?
The traitorous bootlickers who'd just murdered the Queen, though I didn't know it at the time. He was bloody, exhausted, and obviously being hunted. I offered to take him to my father's camp.
I think I do that, and this is all in the novel, but I think I do vaguely remember that. Camp, I thought you were a farmer.
That's a story for another time, I'm afraid. I've gone on too long as it is. Go ahead.
What would you have done if you'd won?
I suppose that depends on how much of the kingdom was left by then. Once the border was secure, the army would have regrouped to push back the Darkspawn in the south.
But the border was in no danger.
It's easy to say now. When Chevaliers were massing on our doorstep, things were a little less clear. In any case, there's no use discussing this. We have much work left to do.
I guess he's talking about Riordan and the Grey Wardens and their reinforcements. I can understand the source of his paranoia, since he spent his entire life fighting against Orlais and didn't want to see his life's work overturned. But with Kaelin's mistake or with his own. I wonder if that's an interesting thought too. I wonder if he found those letters in Kaelin's trunk. And maybe he knew that the Orlesians were coming and Kaelin had invited them, and that was what caused him to do what he did. Guess we'll never know, though. I'm sure he wouldn't admit it.
Go ahead.
Were you really going to kill Anora?
Anora always did have a flair for the dramatic. She could have been a bard.
You didn't answer my question.
It's a foolish question. I'm sure you think me capable of every sort of evil, but Anora is my only child.
Um, so I broke. I don't get number 3. Why me though? Why me what? Why did she come to me? That's obvious. I'll say, so I broke into the royal palace for nothing?
Well, I'm sure having you come to her rescue gave Honora no small amount of pleasure. But enough about Honora. We ought to get moving.
It also wasn't the royal palace, it was the Earl of Denham's estate, but minor qualm there.
Go ahead.
Also, I really like to, if you do choose to kill Loghain, as probably the majority of people end up doing, I'm trying to remember what his last lines were. Oh, I'm gonna screw it up, but look it up on YouTube. It's really good. It's about Honora. He's reminiscing about her childhood, and it kind of brings out the father in him and the humanity. And you see that even the most mad and power-hungry tyrants still have a very human side as well. And as a character, I really like Loghain. That he is a very morally complex character. He's not easy to pigeonhole into just like this horrible evil person, nor this great hero. He's, I guess you'd say, more of an anti-villain than anything else. Do you think Alistair will make a good king?
Eamon is a shrewd man. He'll be advising the boy. He'll do all right, I suppose.
It's changed from what you said at the Lands meet.
I was trying to be polite. Your friend may get good advice from Eamon, but he's weak. All the bands know it. You can see them. A pack of wild dogs waiting for a bone. The first chance they get, they'll pry concessions out of him. They'll pick at the throne until it's only a gilded chair with no power or authority at all.
It's good that he has Honora at his side then to prevent that. And also Alistair is hardened, so that'll also help prevent that. But I suppose this is here no matter, as long as Alistair takes the throne, this is here, even if Honora does take the throne at his side. Don't you think that's a little bit pessimistic?
By all means, hope for some better outcome. I certainly shall. I just won't expect it. By all means.
Yeah, it's kind of, that conversation doesn't make quite as much sense when you have them marry. Do you think Honora will make a good queen?
Honora is a good queen. She has been for 5 years now.
Then why did you take power from her?
Whatever she might think, I never took power from Honora. She may have felt threatened, but I most pointedly did not remove her from the throne. In all seriousness, Honora is formidable. You should know that by now.
So I guess it was all Hal's doing locking her up then? He didn't know about it? But will she be good for Ferelden?
I'm not a seer. If I could predict the future, I wouldn't be here now. Honora is strong enough to endure. She may make a few mistakes along the way, but she'll survive them. But this isn't the time to discuss such things.
Any other questions?
By all means.
What was Honora like as a child?
So far as anyone could tell, she was the undisputed monarch of the whole world. She'd fall, skin her knees, and command them to stop stinging. It may have worked, too.
Did she have many friends?
Gwaran sits in between the Brazilian forest and the sea. It's far from the old Tevinter roads. The village by our keep was never even as big as Redcliffe. There were always a few children around. Charcoal burners, sons and daughters mostly, or the children of servants. They formed into noisy gangs in the courtyard for their games. But Honora never joined them.
What about in Denerim? Actually, mine's number 4. Why would Merrick give you a Ternier in the middle of nowhere?
Because it was vacant, and though it's off the trade routes close to Denerim, it was a good place for children to grow up. Solitude isn't terrible, you know. She had a free reign over the woods. If you're expecting some particular insight into my daughter's character, I'm afraid I'm probably not the best source. I'm hardly impartial.
Are you and Honora close?
I think you already know the answer to that. But this is not really the time or place to discuss my daughter. We have work to do.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of prying into his personal life now. Anything else I can ask him
Go
about?
ahead.
Nope, guess that's it.
Of course.
Oh, all that added up to some disapproval. That sucks.
You want something?
Nope.
Of course.
Alright, guess that's it for Logain. Which means I guess that's probably just about it for everybody. Alright. Let's go ahead in that case then. Any other gifts? Nope. We're going to save the game one last time. And when we come back, we'll head to Red Cliff. And hopefully put an end to the Fifth Blight once and for all.